Imagine standing in the heart of ancient Rome, surrounded by marble temples, triumphal arches, and monuments built not just to impress, but to endure forever. Imagine being told that this civilization, that the most powerful system the world had ever known, would one day simply stop functioning, not in a blaze of destruction, not through a single decisive invasion, but quietly, gradually, almost invisibly. That is the most unsettling truth about the fall of the Roman Empire. Rome did not collapse. It wore away. And because it wore away slowly, almost no one realized what was happening until there was nothing left to save. For centuries, Rome appeared eternal. Its laws governed millions. Its armies controlled continents. Its cities pulsed with commerce, authority, and confidence. Yet beneath this image of permanence, something was quietly deteriorating. Not suddenly, not violently, but steadily, year after year, generation after generation. Rome was not destroyed by a single blow. It was exhausted. And exhaustion, unlike invasion, rarely looks dangerous until it becomes irreversible. Life inside the empire continued. Markets opened each morning. Taxes were collected. Officials issued decrees. Armies marched. To the ordinary Roman citizen, the empire still existed, and therefore it must still be strong. But history shows us that appearances can be deceiving. Institutions can continue operating long after they have lost their effectiveness. Systems can survive even as their foundations rot beneath the surface. Rome's decline did not arrive as chaos. It arrived as routine. Problems that once would have demanded urgent solutions slowly became permanent conditions. Emergency measures became standard practice. Temporary compromises became lasting policy. What once would have been unacceptable gradually became normal. And when decline becomes normal, resistance fades. Rome did not ignore its problems. It adapted to them, and adaptation in this case proved fatal. Rome's erosion was defined by countless small losses, so small that they were easy to overlook. Roads were repaired less often. Bureaucracy became heavier and slower. Taxes increased while public services declined. Corruption spread quietly through administrative systems. Officials cared less about efficiency and more about personal survival. None of these changes appeared catastrophic on their own. Together, they hollowed out the empire from within. The Roman state grew increasingly unresponsive. Decisions took longer. Authority became fragmented. Responsibility blurred. Problems were addressed only when they became unavoidable. And even then, only partially. Rome still stood. Its cities still functioned. But it no longer worked the way an empire must. And history reminds us that functionality matters more than strength, more than territory, and more than reputation. As the empire expanded, it became too large to manage with the tools it had created. Distance weakened control. Communication delays turned urgent matters into delayed reactions. Local authorities gained power as central authority weakened. Loyalty shifted from institutions to individuals. Generals commanded armies loyal to them personally. Governors ruled provinces as semi-independent domains. The empire remained vast, but it was no longer cohesive. Governance became reactive rather than strategic. Rome was no longer shaping events. It was responding to crises one after another, without ever resolving their underlying causes. Each solution created new problems. Each reform required further compromise. The system survived, but only barely, and survival, mistaken for stability, became the empire's greatest illusion. Perhaps the most dangerous element of Rome's decline was psychological. People adapted. Expectations adjusted downward. Each generation accepted a slightly worse version of the empire than the one before it. Fewer public services, less security, more corruption, higher costs of living. But because these changes unfolded slowly, they felt manageable, familiar, even inevitable. This is how civilizations fade, not through panic, but through tolerance, not through rebellion, but through resignation. Rome did not fail because its people stopped caring. It failed because they learned to live with decline. And once decline becomes acceptable, recovery becomes almost impossible. Rome's enemies did not destroy the empire. They entered a system already weakened, already exhausted, already struggling to function. Invasions succeed when societies lose resilience. External pressure only becomes fatal when internal strength has already eroded. Rome did not fall because barbarians attacked its borders. Barbarians succeeded because Rome could no longer defend itself effectively. Decline is far more dangerous than invasion because it does not announce itself. It does not inspire urgency. It does not demand immediate action. Rome did not fall when its cities were taken. It fell when its institutions lost credibility, when its systems stopped working, and when exhaustion replaced ambition. The story of Rome forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. Great civilizations rarely collapse in a single moment. They fade, they erode, they adjust to decline until decline becomes permanent. Rome did not fall all at once. It wore away, quietly, patiently, and fatally. In the next episode, we will examine how political corruption and personal ambition accelerated this process, turning slow decay into irreversible collapse. Because by the time Rome faced its greatest threats, it was already tired. And history teaches us a lesson that remains disturbingly relevant. Today, empires rarely realize they are dying until it is far too late.